Okay, I think we're live. I think we have everything in place. Let's see here. And I'm sorry for audience, please. Okay, I think we have our guests. So Cody, can you hear me? So Cody,
Yes, I'm here.
hey, you're here. Yay.
Hey,
It works. We got our audience and we have you, and we're alive on Facebook as well. I think if you can share as well, that'd be great so that people can see it from your side.
okay.
But we are live. I'm excited. I am excited.
Me too. So am I. So am I.
Yes, and so this is it definitely has been a little bit of a challenge but I finally, you must be the icing to the cake and the glue to the mold, because this is the first time we went through Zoom and had it to work correctly without going through the other pages. And so I'm excited about that. And so I want to introduce you to my live audience that is listening to us via satellite throughout the 178 countries. And we have none other, the renowned Sakoti Prince himself. And so he is the motivator, the inspirator, the actual person that will make you feel like you can take on the world.
Live audience that is listening to us.
So if you could turn your feet, you got your sound on in the back.
Yeah, I think let me.
None other.
Got a little bit of static, of feedback.
Okay. All
Perfect.
right, I'm here.
You're live. You're live 100%.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I want you to tell the audience a little bit about who Sakoti Prince is and who is this motivator, this man to make you look inside yourself and say, I'm better than this. I am the next thing. I can do this. I want you to talk to the audience and get them to the place of saying, you know what? I'm introducing me to the new me for this new season, this new pandemic that we're going through, this new stage of our life. How do we get to that level?
Yeah. Well, first, I want to thank you, Trina, for allowing me this opportunity to come on your show and to share with your audience. And I can't tell you how excited I am about being able to impact and to transform the lives of your listeners. Now, a little bit about myself. My name is Sakoni Prince, and I'm of SakoniPrince.com, where we make motivation personal by introducing you to yourself. And someone asked me, how did you come up with that? Well, one of the things I realized is that inspiration is external, but motivation is internal.
Right.
Say that again. Inspiration is external. You can inspire somebody, but motivation is internal. Because you have to have that internal motivation in order for you to be able to go out and to change the world. So when we say making motivation personal, meaning helping you to understand who you are. You know, one of my biggest challenges in dealing with some of my coaching clients is helping them to understand their own worth and how important it is for you to know who you are, not just for yourself, but for everybody around you. Can you imagine an off-duty police officer being in a restaurant that's getting held up and not doing anything? I mean, you would think just because he's not on duty, but he knows and he's been trained or she's been trained to actually deal with situations like that, when the time comes, they step up. And so helping people to understand what they have on the inside and who they are, it really helps them to understand what they will and won't put up with, what they will and won't do. And they really start to see themselves in a different light. They really understand what they bring to the table and what they have to offer the world. And they see the value in it. And it's from that value that they start living.
Exactly. And you know, you said something earlier, and people have to realize who they are.
Yes.
And you know, a lot of people don't understand the magnitude of who they are. And when it's like my mom used to say to me, keep living, baby. When and I was like, what, what did that mean? And it's like the more you grow, the more you develop, the more you start to understand you. But sometimes situations in our life doesn't allow us to reflect and to actually look deep within us.
Yes.
So that's why when I put the topic was tonight, introducing you to yourself, is like, hi, how are you doing? How did I get here? When did that shift happen? A lot of people are going through this shift, and sometimes people go through it when they're in their 30s, 40s, 50s. But with this pandemic, it has caused us to look at our life and look at ourselves in a different way. And
Yeah.
so it's some things that you have said has definitely marinated with me, but also you've always, every time I've seen you, you've always been that person to motivate a person to be their greatness, tapping into their greatness. But also the big thing that I want you to talk about a little bit tonight is, how do you get your mind to change? How that, you mean, I talk about mental fitness. I
Right.
talk about getting people to that mindset. How do I
Right.
get my mind to understand that there's a change coming? There is something that's going on. How do I get to that point where I'm saying, you know what? I have to change my mindset so the best me can come forward.
Right. Right. Well, I would say even before you get your mind right, the first thing you need to do, the very first thing, and for those who are taking notes, this would be a good time to write this down.
Mhm.
Even during this pandemic, even doing what we're facing right now, the first thing you need to do is get your emotions in check. I'm going to say that again. Get your emotions in check. I tell people all the time, never let your emotions drive. They're not covered on your insurance.
Never let your emotions drive. It's not covered on your insurance.
No, your emotions are not covered on your insurance. They are like the children in your life. They are not
Mm,
old enough and responsible enough to take the driver's seat. And so many people make decisions when they're emotional, and then they wind up regretting it later.
wow.
Again, never let your emotions drive, because they're not covered on your insurance. Now, that doesn't mean that we dismiss them. That doesn't mean that we put them out of the car altogether. But we
Mhm.
can't make decisions based solely upon our emotions.
Exactly. And
We have to get them in check.
that's a big trigger. That is a huge thing, because a lot of people, the mindset is to allow your emotions to move you forward, because the emotions is the piece in the mind is telling you, okay, your emotion could drive you to success or pull you away from success.
Yes.
Your emotion can drive you in a relationship, or it can pull you. So your emotion can destroy your life or build your life.
Right. Right. And that's why I said the first thing you need to do is get them in check. Make
Mm,
sure that they are where they need to be. They have their place. They can
mhm.
be a good motivator in certain situations, but you can't live your life based upon how you feel. Which brings us to the second point.
Mm,
You talked about mindset. The
right.
second thing is getting your mind right. But before you can get your mind right, you have to make your emotion. Okay, sit down, buckle up,
Back up. Yeah.
get in, get in,
Get
get
ready
in
for
your
this.
booster seat.
Yes.
And then after those are in check, then you spend time getting your mind right. That's when you
Mm,
start evaluating the situation. Start
mm.
looking at the facts and the figures and making sure that you're making a sound, informed decision.
And a lot of people don't do that. I mean, even in the relationships, jobs,
Yes.
purchasing homes,
Yes.
anything is like, they're like, okay, and you have to digest and get your mind clear before you move into that next path. And a lot of people say, well, I just did it on a whim. Sometimes you can do things on a whim, but what's driving that emotion? What's behind that emotion?
Ooh, let's see. You hit on something that is at the core of who I am.
Uh-huh.
For those that are taking notes, write this down. It's not what you do, but why you do it.
It's not what you do, but it's why you do it.
Exactly.
Okay,
It's
that's
not,
good. That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
it's not that you buy a bunch of clothes. The question is why?
Why? Why do you do it? Why?
Why?
What's the why in your life? What's that why?
Exactly. It's not that you, and I remember hearing this one minister saying, it's not that you drink, but what are you trying to drown?
That's good. Now, it's not that you drink, but what is it you're trying to drown?
Exactly.
What emotions are you trying to drown by? That is some good stuff. I mean, so Cody, you're coming up with that is good stuff, because a lot of people, they get involved in emotional eating.
Yes.
And I talk about that personally, because it's certain things that triggers me to go to the refrigerator, that triggers me to have it. And so it's certain things that I got to understand, what is that wave of emotions that's driving me to that place that I want to eat, or driving me to that place where I got to work out because I got so much going on. And it's not that it's energy, is that I got so much stress that I got to get it out. And so working out is the best way for me to run my 7 miles or walk or whatever I got to do, because it's that emotion.
Yes. Yes. And so again, dealing with that emotion. So understanding that it's not what we do, but why we do it. I had to look at my own life. And I'm going to be really transparent with everybody listening. I was in college. I was in this relationship with this young lady. And the relationship started to go south. And I remember fighting for everything I could just to stay in that relationship. And as I look back on it, it was a lost cause. But I didn't just look at the fact that I went out of my way to try to make the relationship work. I started to ask myself, why? So, Coney, why is it that in 80% of the relationships you've been in, it was the woman that ended it? Why? What is it about you that wants to hang on for dear life? And see, that really started my own journey of personal discovery and personal development, because I started to question myself.
And that's the key. So, Coney, I don't want to cut you off, but I want you to just come back to that. That's a real personal thing, because a lot of people don't understand, they don't get to that point where they question that. And so now you had a point where you was a pivotal moment in your life. You're like, what is that? What's in me that's causing that?
Right. And that's really what I help a lot of my coaching clients do. In a non-threatening moment, to take an objective look at themselves. And again, it's not what you do, but why you do it. And so
what you do, but why you do it.
Yeah. So I started evaluating myself. I started looking at myself and looking into the things that went into making me who I was. And so many of us, we are so quick to ask questions of everybody else but ourselves.
Right. That is so true. That is so true.
So if you're going to get better, you need to find out why it is, why you do what you do. And oftentimes, in order to get the right answers, you have to ask the right questions.
And sometimes we don't want to see. The fear is because we don't want we don't want to see the truth. We don't want truth. So we don't ask that question because we're afraid of what that answer will be.
Right. And a lot of us, we already know. So we're just trying to hide it. Trying to hide it with a new car.
We're camouflaging it.
Yeah. Hide it with some more makeups, some more suits, a new house, a better job, more prestige. But if we never deal with our own insecurities, we'll never be the best possible version of ourselves.
And you know what? That is so important, because a lot of people, they think they hold their self hostage based off of their own insecurities. And so their mindset is telling them, I can't do it because of how someone made me feel, and how I feel about myself, and not realizing that it's in the mind. Because a lot of people, I've talked to women, especially single mothers and single parents, and the mistake is that because I made this mistake as a young woman, or I had a child out of wedlock, they don't see themselves in a better relationship. They don't see themselves having certain things, because it takes them to love themselves. Like you say, introducing me to myself at a
Right.
different level. And when I do that, I have the clarity of saying, this is why, or this is who I am now. I'm not that person that I was before.
Right. Right. And one of the exercises, in fact, that I take my clients through is actually doing a comparison, writing
Mm-hmm.
down all of the good things about yourself on one side of the paper, drawing a line, and then writing down all of the things that you consider to be negative things. And what you'll find out is that the list of good things is always longer than the ones
Mm,
that you consider to be negative. The
right.
question is, are you giving more weight to the shorter list than to the longer one?
Mm,
And
good,
sometimes
good.
that has to happen in order for you just to see that you're not as bad as you think you are, or as you perceive yourself to be. But there's
Right.
so much you have to offer.
That, and I'm thinking, because as you say that, is that people have gotten to the point where they don't see themselves, and so they can't think to that next level. They can't
Right.
get their mind to even go there. You know how people say you got to let your mind go there,
Yeah.
so you can see yourself free. It's like I can't see my mind out the cage. I'm like that bird is. I'm in the cage. I can't see that. I know I got the wings. I know I can fly. I know I'm supposed to fly. I see everybody else around me flying, but I can't see myself outside of the cage. I can't see myself outside of the situation I'm in. And that's by introducing yourself to yourself and understanding that even though I'm here mentally, I
Yeah.
have to see myself there.
Yeah. Yeah. And that reminds me, I did a video several years ago entitled, "What Are You Wearing and Where Are You
Mm.
Going?"
What are you wearing and where are
What are
you
you
going?
wearing and where are you going? And in the video, I said, I saw this guy in the store and he had on some khaki pants, some bowling shoes, a polo shirt, and a glove with the fingertips cut off. And I said to myself, that guy's probably going bowling. I said, I saw this other guy. He had on some steel toe boots, some work pants, a work shirt, and a hat. And I said, that guy's probably going to work. I said, I saw this other young lady. She had on some flip flops. She had on some a bikini, in fact, with some shorts on, and she had on some sunglasses. I said, she's probably going to the pool or to the beach. So my question
Right.
to the audience is, what are you wearing and where are you going? I told them, I
Mm.
said, I talk to my kids and I tell them, I said, look, I'm not raising kids, I'm raising adults. And they look at me like, wait a minute, we're not adults. I said,
Right,
okay.
right.
I said, do you wait till you get to school to put your school clothes on? They said, no. I said, do you wait to get to church to put your church clothes on? They said, no. I said, do you wait until you get in the pool to put your swimsuit on? They said, no. I said, you always get ready somewhere else, right? You always get dressed somewhere else. I said, well, you don't wait till you become an adult to learn how to be one. I said, now is the time, and this is the place you learn the skills you need to be an adult. So going back to what you were saying earlier about seeing yourself and getting your mind there, you have to see yourself there. You have to prepare for where you're going, not for where you are. You do have to acknowledge where you are, just like a GPS. I don't care what
Mm-hmm.
GPS you use. In
Right.
order for you to get to your destination, it's going to say, okay, this is where you want to go. Where are you now?
Right, exactly. And that's the key, because a lot of people, you have a destination. You're supposed to get somewhere, but it's like if I don't have the right equipment, it's just like me going hiking, for example.
Right.
If I don't pack my bags correctly, and I know I'm going hiking, my mindset is to say I'm going hiking. So I have to have the proper gear. If I don't have the boots and everything, and I don't have my compass and knowing that I'm going north, east, southwest, wherever direction I'm supposed to go, if I'm not using the proper tools to
Right.
get there, then I might cause a habit. I might have some problems along the way.
Yeah.
And because my GPS might say, you know, you need to turn left. When in my mind, someone keep straight, keep straight. Because, but I didn't follow the directions that I
Right.
needed to follow because I wasn't wearing the proper things.
Right. Right. You don't want to go hiking wearing house shoes and a house coat.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
And so give us a few nuggets or quick points on how do I connect with myself and motivating myself even in the midst of everything that we see going on right now. How do I say, you know what, it's time for me to be better? Or do people know? I mean, maybe it's a question that do they know it's a season to shift? Because some people can sense it, and then some people might have to be told.
well, in order for you to get into a better place, it generally starts with dissatisfaction, meaning that you're not satisfied with where you are. There's a certain amount of discomfort, certain amount of unrest. It's like a baby in the womb. At some point, it's too tight. This is too. I can't grow anymore. I can't go anymore. I need to find a way out. So dissatisfaction and discomfort are signs that you need to grow. Okay. And you're not satisfied and you're not happy. That's a good sign that, okay, look, something needs to change. And more than likely, what needs to change is you.
Right.
Okay?
Exactly.
Okay. There are so many people, they look at other folks. Well, if I didn't have them in my life, or if I didn't work at that job, or if I didn't do this, and if I didn't do that, if you take all of those people out of the way and put a whole new different set, you'll find yourself dealing with the same exact problem because it really wasn't about them. It's about you.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
It's not about. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. That's true because and that's where a lot of people fall short because they thinking it's about someone else and that even in relationships and even in jobs. They don't realize it's about me. How is it affecting me? It's not about them. How is that situation or how am I allowing them to affect me to be who I need to be? Because a lot of times people get caught up in looking at someone else's fault when it's like Mike say, the man in the mirror. It's me. I'm in the mirror. It's my image. It's me. And if my mindset is not right, then how can I say it's the man in the mirror when all along it's been me, the problem?
That's so true. And it's not about the buttons that people push. My thing is disconnect the button. Just disconnect the button.
Just disconnect it. Right. Take the button out of the equation. That way you don't have to say, oh, he pushing my buttons or he making me. No one you should not give no one that power, that amount of power to get to the point where they push your buttons to make you get out of character, to do something that's not normal because you allow them to push a button that really shouldn't be a button to be pushed.
That's true. That's true. So being able to evaluate where you are as an individual is the first step to determining where you want to be. Again, you're dissatisfied. Okay, I'm not happy where I am. So where is it I want to be? Where do I want to go?
Right, exactly.
And then, and this really goes back to what we were talking about earlier about the emotions and the mindset, getting a plan together on how to get where you say you want to be.
A plan of action. Have a plan of action to say, this is where I want to go. So basically, if you're taking notes, what he's saying, have a plan, have a strategy, build up yourself to understand this is the level that I need to go to. Because a lot of times we have, and I talk about the vision board. I want to piggyback off what you're saying, because a lot of times we have a vision board, but we forget that we have to make sure that we stay the course along the vision board, and so many times we'll put up so many different things and things can happen and change along the way. And last week I had the Mr. Unstoppable Terrence on,
Right, right.
and it was a perfect conversation because we talked about glasses. My
Okay.
vision and your vision is not the same. So
Right.
my vision board cannot be the same vision board you have. I have to have a plan of action. The way you're going might not be the direction God has me to go, but all along is we have a purpose. We have a plan. How do we get to that place where we say, you know what, I need to stick to my plan, even though I see Johnny down the road moving 10 times faster than me, because that have been my, I'm going to put my stuff out there. That have
Okay.
been some of my things where I seen people going and doing, and I'm thinking, I should be able to do some of these things. And you're like, what is wrong with me?
I'm right there with you.
Why come I'm not doing that thing? Why come it's not working for me? And so my biggest thing was, how do I get to that place? And then I had to realize, and I had to, like you say, check myself. It's me. I introduced me to me. I am uniquely made. It's me. I have one of a kind fingerprint. It's me. I have not to look. I'm the original. So I can't look at their path and say, that's the path I need to go, because I know that the direction I'm going might be something that may take a little longer, but is life changing.
Right. And I want to share something just for you, just based upon what you said. And that is that even when you look at other people, even when you see them doing stuff that you say that you want to do, the thing is, you may see their glory, but you don't know their story.
Right.
You may see their glory, but you don't know their story. You don't know what they went through in order to get to where they are. A lot of people walk in the middle of your story, and they have no idea where you started, what you went
Come
through.
on. Exactly. How you got there, what it took to get there. They don't know. I mean, some people might take 3-4 years. Some people might take 20. You
Right.
don't know the story. Trust me.
Right.
If you heard my story, you'd be like, oh, did she go through that? Did she do that?
Right.
Because a lot of people see you and thinking, oh, she just got it all together. You don't know what all it took for me to get to this place in my life.
Exactly. So we can't really measure our accomplishment with somebody else's ruler.
Okay? Don't measure your accomplishments with someone else's ruler.
Right.
That's powerful.
Right.
Don't measure your accomplishments with someone else's ruler, because that's not, it just doesn't work.
Right.
Looking for the best way to maximize the pool of talent you have? Looking to equip your leaders with the skills they need to lead more effectively? Ready to develop your workforce into a mission-driven organization? Well, then you need to make sure they attend the Next Level Leadership Summit. This Next Level event will focus on preparing your leaders to effectively carry out your company, organization, or group's mission statement, while creating a culture that is conducive for growth. Next Level Leadership Summit, October 8th through the 10th, 2020 in Atlanta, Georgia.
And so going back to getting your mind right, getting your mind together and getting that plan in place, that's where you have to, even if you have to get help.
Right.
And I tell my kids all the time, there's nothing wrong with needing help.
Exactly.
But there's everything wrong with needing help and not being willing to ask for it.
Ask for it. You're going to make me say something. Because
go ahead and say it.
This is good conversation. This is good stuff. Because I have seen, it's just like the man that it's like, you see the puddle there. It's water. If you step in it, you can sink, you can go down, whatever. But it's like you see that you need help, but you are so proudful and so stubborn, and so to the point where you're like me, I know I needed some help with this technology stuff, right? And I was like, I need someone to show me how to do this. I didn't have a problem saying, this ain't my forte. This is not my lane. I need to get someone to help me go down the street because I know I need to go down the street. But sometimes you might have to have someone to help you to go down the street or to coast you along the way. And so I don't mind saying, come on and get on board, coast me along the way, and you can get out when you need to, but help me to make sure that we get the vision done.
If your dream is small enough for you to do it, it's not big enough. I'm gonna tell this quick story. When I was in college, when I first moved, I literally took a bed sheet and put it in the middle of the room and put everything in it and tied it up and put it in the trunk of my car. It's the living room, it's the kitchen, it's the bathroom, because that was it. I didn't have that much stuff.
Right.
But when I left college, I had to get a U-Haul because I needed some help because I had more stuff. The point I'm trying to make is that if your dreams and your goals, you can accomplish them by yourself, they're not big enough.
Right.
You need other people to help you get to where you want to be.
And that's so powerful because, like you said, you start off. It's not how I start, but it's how I finish. Yes. I might start off small. I might start off with a little, but it's, and then the Bible, I know you're a godly fearing man. The Bible said he'll make us ruler over much. Right. It's just that we have to be faithful of the little things. Right. I mean, if I'm just faithful over that little thing, then when the big thing comes, I know how to handle it. So you knew that you needed some help, but you knew you outgrew that level of where you're going. A lot of times we get so caught up that we want to stay here because we don't want someone to come in because you have that crawdad spirit. We have that mindset where they might take from me, not realizing that it's better to give. So if I give, then I can receive from something higher than what I was giving. And so that's power within itself. I'm going to give out of the abundance because I understand where I need to give. And so if I give it freely, I'm expecting to receive it freely.
That's true. And I live by the motto, to whom much is given,
much is required.
Yes. Now, see, the thing about that is a lot of people have not taken inventory of what they've been given. Because if they take inventory of what they've been given, they'll see the responsibility that comes with it.
That is so, and you know what? I have to say this, and because we're both spiritual, so I'm gonna say this. Sometime God or it doesn't even have to be God, but sometimes we're, as a growing person, like you said, we're introducing ourselves. We're introducing you to yourself. So sometime when we at that level, sometimes we might not be at that level of maturity to know that, hey, I'm going somewhere, but if I gave it to you here, you might not be able to handle where you're going because it's a little more bigger than what I think it is. It's a little bit more going on. And so your mindset would say, I got to keep going because I'm at a different level. And so sometimes we can't look at that beginning because we thinking we can get it all now. If I didn't know, like I told somebody last week, if I known then what I know now, oh my. Oh my. It will be a whole different story going on around here. I wouldn't have some ups and I sure wouldn't have had them down. I wouldn't have been going, you know what I'm saying? Because I would have adjusted my life based off of the knowledge that I got, but it took some time. Like Abraham and Sarah, it took some time for them to get to that place because they thought, oh, okay. But when the time happened, it's like, if I known then what I know now, it would be a whole different story.
Right. Well, and see, oftentimes we go through things to learn.
Life is a lesson of learning.
Yes. I say, I don't lose. I either win or I learn. You only lose if you leave the lesson. Okay.
Wow. You only lose if you leave the lesson. You're basically in to learn.
Yes, yes. And so many people are so quick to get out of situation. Let me out, let me out. My question is, why did you get in?
Hello? Why did you get in? And what, some people say, well, I want to, get out of the job or get out of a relationship or get out of this. And it's like, well, what pushed you in it in the beginning? What made you go there? And so, and sometimes, like you say, we look at other people when it's really us.
Right, right. So even in a situation, learn the lesson that you were put in it for.
What did you get out of that lesson? And that's so key. What you got me thinking now. You got me thinking, Dakota. You got me thinking, because the lesson, if we don't get something out of the lesson when we go in it, we end up eventually repeating. You know how some people say, I repeat the class, I had to repeat the assignment, I had to redo the test because I never learned from my mistake. I never took the ability to open myself up and say, what was my lesson out of this? Right. Was I supposed to stay in the relationship, or was I supposed to have, because people come to be a friend for a lifetime, a season, or a reason. What was it? What was those three? Was it a reason to give you knowledge, the power that you needed? Was it a lifetime that they're not going nowhere? Or was it a reason? So what is it? What are you getting out of it? Some people, it's seasonal. May come, they gone. June come, some people are seasonal.
Yeah. And, I've even learned that even those people that are difficult, those ones that are hard to deal with, again, there are things that we're supposed to learn. Sometimes we learn patience. Sometimes we learn what we can put up with. Sometimes we learn where our cutoff point is.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, I'm not going with that no more. I'm not going to go there. And some people know I'm not going down that road. Don't even push me down that road. I'm not going down that road no more.
Exactly. The Bible tells us, if it at all possible for us to live at peace with all men. And sometimes that means you stay on your side of the planet and I'm going to stay on mine.
Because I can't, because there's no peace with us being around each other. I can't, I got to keep a peace of mind. Let me have this little peace of mind because I can't do so. And so you have to understand, because certain people bring trigger points, you know. And so it can trigger you to do something out of your norm, have emotional connection to it that will make you think different, do things different. And then you say, well, why did you do that? Well, I don't know. You provoked me. Why did you, it's so many things happen. And it's like, what is that level? What is that next stage in our life? How do we get to the place where I love me in spite of what you might say?
Oh, man. If people could really just grasp that, if they could really appreciate who they are.
Right.
Now, see, you got me telling stuff I wasn't planning on talking about.
Oh, well, that's good stuff then. If you wasn't planning on talking about it and you want to share it, that's some good stuff.
But it fits in everything that we're talking about. And after I graduated high school, there was a period of time when I could not buy a date. I know that's hard to believe. I know that's hard to
buy a date. You couldn't buy a date. You said
I was promising dinner and a movie. I was promising matinee and McDonald's and nothing. No takers. So I spent a lot of time hanging out with myself.
Wow.
And during that time, and I can honestly say, God actually, he showed me how to become my own best friend. I started to value the person I was, the friend that I was. And I got to the point to where if you don't like me, it's your loss.
Hello?
You know why? You know why? Because I know what type of person I am. Right. I know what I bring to the table. I know how valuable I am. Not being conceited, not thinking of myself more highly than I ought. But when you take inventory as to what God has invested in you, it's not hard for you to, people who don't know you,
right?
Their loss.
Exactly.
But when you get to know yourself. Oh, go ahead.
That's you, like you say, if you know yourself, it's like, that's your loss, man. That's not mine. Exactly. I know my assets. I know that I'm not a liability. You know, I'm
Exactly.
an asset. So just cause you think of other people as a liability, don't get me twisted. Cause I know where I'm going. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that I trust me, you are talking to me tonight. Cause like I've been there. It's like something wrong with me? Of course not. You know, I got the asset. You need me. You know, but when you realize and you start growing and understanding where you at, it's easy for you to say, you know what, they're lost.
Right.
Let me evaluate where I'm at, and I know who I am. My self-worth tell me better.
I got I got to hit this scripture because this is another one of the core principles that I live by.
Okay.
When Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
A
Uh-huh.
lot of us run past that. We just read
Yes.
it,
Yes.
but we don't know just how powerful that is. If
Mm.
you find somebody that has a hard time dealing with other people,
Right.
it's reflective of what's going on the inside of
Inside
them.
of them. Exactly. And that's why I told someone, I said, you can't say you hate people and you go through this because whatever is in you comes out of you,
Yes.
and so if I love me in spite of, people say, well, you always say hi to everybody and God bless you, love you, I can love you and because that's my commandment
Right.
is to love you. I am
Right.
commanded by God to love you. He said, love you. And so I'm commanded to give you love. I'm commanded to give you blessings. And so, but if I honor that and understand who I am, it's not a problem for me to give it
Right. Right.
because I know that's the beauty of it is because if I'm giving it freely, he going to give me something back.
Exactly. And see, even in that example that you gave, it says as freely as you receive, give.
Give,
So you
give.
can't give what you don't have. If you
Hello.
hadn't been forgiven, if you hadn't been loved, you don't have that to give. But
Mm,
if you understand just how much God loves you, if you understand God's his way of forgiveness, it's not
mm.
hard for you. It's not hard for you to forgive other people.
It really isn't because a lot of people and it's interesting you say that because I listen to some people and it's like well he did me this way or she did this and she did that and it's like the more I look at where you are, it's easy for because I have to forgive. I listen to this coach. Her name is Coach Dr. B, and she always her whole thing is about forgiveness.
Right.
Everything she talk about by the end of her thing, every time she come on air, every time she come on Facebook, by the end you're gonna hear one word about forgiveness. And
Right.
the thing about it is that if I can't forgive them, then I can't do best for me. I have to forgive in order for me to move forward. I have to forgive in order for me to grow. And so I can't hold that back because we talked about emotions earlier.
Right. Right.
And one of the bigger emotions is unforgiveness. And
Yeah.
so, if more I hold on to that unforgiveness, the more I'm allowing an emotion to dig within me
Right.
to get to the root of me. And so, it holds me back from being who I need to be. Because one thing about unforgiveness, and this is one thing I've learned through my season of ministry and through life, that unforgiveness is like a root. It's like a vine. It can grow around something and suffocate the life out of it
Yes. Choke the
because
life
it
out.
will keep you to the point where you saying, I can't move forward. I can't do this. And because I didn't forgive him for treating me bad and marrying me and beating me or being on a job that I didn't like because I don't have enough forgiveness to forgive myself. A lot of people just have to forgive themselves and say, you know what? I made some mistakes in my life. I did
Yes.
some things that's unbearable. But I have to forgive myself. That's key one. Introducing yourself to yourself, forgive yourself.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Introducing yourself to yourself by forgiving yourself. Because if I forgive myself, then it's easy to introduce myself and say, you know what, girl, you got this.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what, you got this, man.
Yeah. And so we can actually do that with those people. People are looking we look at each other as mirrors, and we're looking for a reflection.
Right.
And see, the thing about it is, are we reflecting what it is we want to see in the world?
That is so key. That's interesting. You said it. We look at reflections. We looking for something to mirror what we think is, because life doesn't come with, like someone said, well, you're born into this family. Sometimes we're born in a family and it doesn't come with a handbook. You get what you get. It ain't coming with no handbook.
That's true.
So we're looking that we want to be like Leave It to Beaver. We want to have that type of relationship or that type of family where you might have had a chaotic family, but you have to understand through that it didn't come with a handbook. What it came with was the ability to make some changes, make some life changes, but also to love yourself in the process. Forgive yourself for the things that you might seen or might have done. That way you can grow through the process. I understand now. At the age I am, I truly understand why my mom said, "Baby, just keep living." Because I mean, you heard your grandparents, you probably heard your mom and say, "Oh, you just get a little older," and you talk about that gray hair that come with wisdom, little things that we would make fun of, not realizing that it was that something that they have went through a process of life to understand life better. And so many times we want the microwavable situation where it's unbelievable. We just got an instant gratification. And so we popped it in and done. It's done. Life is here. No, that is not how it's supposed to be. I got to be introduced into the process of my life.
Right. No one ever runs to the microwave looking for something awesome to eat. Okay. It comes out of the oven. It comes out of the slow cooker. It comes out of the crock pot, off the smoker. No one says, "Oh, this microwave dinner is just a bump." No, no. And our life is the same way. You know, if we're going to have anything that is sustainable, it's going to take some simmering, some seasoning. It's going to take some slow cooking. We're going to have
marinating and all that.
Exactly. All of that in order to get the flavor that is worth sharing with other people.
Right. And it's so interesting you said that, because you look at life, and life is a process. And as you mold yourself and grow through the process, you have to add some salt, some flavor. You have to add some things in your life. You have to take some things out. So you might have too much in. You got to go and say, okay, I can't go by my first batch. My mom was a baker. She loved cakes and pies and all that.
I love baking too.
And so sometimes your first batch might not be your best batch. And so how did you get better at it? You practice. You went through the experience of saying, you know what, I might have added too much season. I might have added too much salt to that, a little pinch of salt. I like making homemade rolls. And if I don't need my bread right, it ain't going to rise. If I don't go and work it, you got to work bread. One thing I know about bread, if you don't work it, you ain't breaking down the yeast. I don't care how much you let the water sit out and get room temperature, your eggs room temperature. But if you don't put some muscle into it, as my mom would say, move your arms, baby, get some muscle. If you don't put some muscle into your life and get some and build some foundation and say, you know what, I got some yeast. And in order for them to break down, because yeast is very hard to break down to get to the point where you can bake the bread.
Right.
I mean, and so if you don't realize that you got to break that yeast down into a formula where it would actually lever it out to that it would rise easily and rise evenly. Sometimes you have some lumps in your bread because you didn't break it down enough, and so it's not rising the way it needs to. And so we have to understand, how do I get to this point in my life that I didn't do certain things, or do I need to take some things out? What is it? So my question for you, I want you to give us a few nuggets before I let you go off this live. I want you to give us some few nuggets that will inspire people to understand where they're at and how to get to that next level.
Okay. Well, I do want to say that we've actually slipped into the third one. In fact, the first one was getting your emotions in check. The
Emotions in check.
second one was getting our mind right.
Getting your mind
And the
right.
third one is take action, because once you come up with that plan, and even like you talked about that actual dough, you got to put in the work. I don't care what kind of plan you have, what kind of strategy you come up with. If you don't go after it, if you don't take action, you'll never see any difference. I mean, really, all of that is just a waste of time if you never take action. And so
you have to. No, I want you to finish up on that, because go into a little deeper about that action plan, because the action that propels everything. That moves you to your next level.
Right. You have to be willing to put in the work. And like we just mentioned about, it's slow cooking, not quick success.
Right.
So many people give up too soon.
Yes.
But you and I both know, in order to get the results like our parents and grandparents did, even in cooking, they had to take the process. They had to follow the recipe. I started off baking, and I tried to take some shortcuts, and I wonder why doesn't mine taste like it? Because I left some steps out.
Right.
I didn't do what they said do.
Right.
And so I didn't get the same results. So what I had to do, I had to go back and I had to do what the recipe called for. I had to follow it. I had to take action. I could send you right now a recipe to a 7-up cake that'll make you slap everybody you see.
Wow.
But if you don't get the ingredients and follow the recipe, you'll never get the cake.
Because see, this is the thing about it. Now, I like what you just said. There's a couple nuggets. You threw some good nuggets out there, and I want to pull off of one of them.
Okay.
Is that life comes, but you cannot take shortcuts.
Right.
Shortcuts is not going to give you the elasticity of the long lifespan that you need. And with the season, it's just like, for example, my nephew, he loves to slow cook food. He gets up 8:00 in the morning, Seattle time, and I'm like, you up? What you roasting? What you cooking? He got the slow cooker. I said, you're gonna have the whole neighborhood smelling at 9:00 in the morning when the people try to get breakfast. They smelling roasted slow cooker out on the grill. But the thing about it is that he preps it. He got his mindset, so he'd have seasoned it up that night. He'd have got it ready, so he know that by 8:00 I gotta get it on, because it's dinner. Now he cooking it at 8:00, 9:00 in the morning, and so. But the thing about it, it's not gonna come on the table until 6 or 7 in the evening.
Right.
That's a process, man.
Yes.
And like you said, you can't go and say, well, I'm gonna do it at 3. And it be ready by 7. No,
it won't happen. It won't happen. I
that
tried
meat's
that.
Gonna be tough. It's gonna be some rough, tough stuff.
It's gonna be dried out.
And you be like, I cooked it though. No, you didn't let it go the full course. You didn't take and let it go its season, go through its time frame, through its process. Because I can go and say, okay, 12 o'clock, I'm gonna put my roast on. I'm gonna put my ribs on the rack, and I'm gonna slow cook them. Right. Slow cook means slow cook. Exactly. It's gonna cook slow, and it's gonna take its time. You can't go and say, 3 o'clock come. Oh man, I got 6 more hours. Dinner ain't coming out till 10. And folks hungry. You know what I'm saying? Yep. That's why a true mince that can cook on a grill or slow cook, they know getting up 6, 7 o'clock prepping. They prepping the night before and having everything ready to go on the grill by 8, 9. They ain't planning waiting for no 3 noon. Oh, we're gonna grill out at noon. No, that ain't gonna happen.
Right. And that's where that actual action comes in, because like you said, they prepped the night before, they seasoned it, and all of that's good and great. But if you don't get up in time and start working and putting it on the grill, it's not going to be ready.
It's not going to be ready.
And so many of us try to do things in life like that. We may get the business plan, we may get the strategy, we may have everything we need, but if you don't take action, if you don't put it out there, you'll never get to where you're supposed to get to in time.
And I need you to say that one more time, because a lot of people don't put a plan to it, and they thinking they can skip down the road like skippity doo, and think that within 10 minutes it's everything's right there. They don't plan, and that's why people, like you said, they get out so quick. They bailing. I'm out 5 years in a relationship, 6 years in a marriage, 10 years. Why are you out? Because I can't see myself. A lot of people, like I told some people, through this pandemic, they truly learning about the relationship. They truly learning about who they are, because
Yes.
this is the time to introduce you to yourself.
Yourself.
Because you're understanding some things like, oh, I do that,
Yes.
because 8 hours of the day, I'd have been with Johnny, Sue, Betty, and all them at work, and they said, oh, she good doing this, because your mind is on your work. But
Right.
8 hours at home, plus another 8 hours with your kids, plus another 8 hours with your husband. So you doing the 24/7. And now it's like, oh, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So this pandemic is introducing us to us.
Us.
Yes.
Right,
That's true.
exactly.
That's
It's
true.
introducing us to us at a whole different level. And so that's why it's a season for you to really chime in and hear and understand that this is what I need to do. This is how I change myself. This is how I go and go through the process, because we've been moving so fast for the last 10, 20, 30 years, especially since I would say 40, because in the 70s, women were working at home.
Right.
I remember, that they were just gradually coming out and working in the workforce in the early 70s.
Right.
So the last 40 years, we've been we gone. We zoom, zoom, zoom. We in and out. Traffic, like boom, boom. And now it's like, oh, I got married. We've been married for this long. Kids gone and out the house. And how do I know you? When refresh my mind again. But that's how you introduce yourself, because a lot of people have gotten different levels of mindset and changed the way they do things now.
Looking for the best way to maximize the pool of talent you have? Looking to equip your leaders with the skills they need to lead more effectively? Ready to develop your workforce into a mission-driven organization? Well, then you need to make sure they attend the Next Level Leadership Summit. This Next Level event will focus on preparing your leaders to effectively carry out your company, organization, or group's mission statement, while creating a culture that is conducive for growth. Next Level Leadership Summit, October 8th through the 10th, 2020 in Atlanta, Georgia.
Right. I have one other nugget that I got to drop this on everybody.
Okay, drop it then.
Okay.
Drop it. I'm going
to recap, because that's really going to set up the fourth one.
Okay.
The first one was get your emotions in check.
Get your emotions in check. First one is get your emotions in check.
Right. Second one was get your mind right.
Second one, get your mind right. Okay.
The third one is take action.
The third one is take action. So
Okay.
for all of you that's writing it down, write those three down. First one is get your emotions in check.
Right.
Second one is what?
It's get your mind right.
Get your mind right. So we got to get your mind right. And the third one is to take action.
Take action. Now, the fourth one,
believe
it or not, this is going to bring it all home. The fourth thing is to repeat.
The fourth thing is to repeat.
To repeat. Now, this is why I say that. After you've gotten your emotions in check, after you've gotten your mind right, after you've taken action, something inevitably is going to happen, which is going to cause your emotions to get out of whack again.
Wow. So you got to constantly repeat the actions before.
Exactly. And that is the way we grow. That is the way we grow. Just like you talked about those people that cooked, they practice. Okay. He didn't just smoke one time. What? He kept smoking.
Exactly.
And kept smoking. And kept smoking. He kept getting up. He kept seasoning. he start knowing, okay, look, last time I only smoked it for 6 hours and it wasn't really quite done. This time I need to do it 8. So you repeat the process.
Exactly.
Right. So you don't stay where you are, but you learn how, okay, even after I got my emotions right, even after I got my plan together, even after I took action, something obviously inevitably is not going to go the way I want it to go. And my emotions are going to get out of whack again. So guess what? I got to start over. I got to get my emotions back in check. I got to get my mind right now. And then I got to take action. And then just keep going. But that's how we not only go through life, but that's how we grow through life.
And you know what? I like that you say that, because a lot of people don't want to repeat. And so they give up.
Yeah.
Because it brings a new level of challenge.
Right.
And so now that I've gotten myself, because not only they don't want to repeat, because fear sits in, like we talked about, because now I see that it's like, was that really happen? Did that happen? Is it good? So the fear is that, can I do it again? I made my first million. Can I do it again? That type of mentality. Or I bought my first house. Can I do it again? I opened up my first business. Can I do? And so the things, just the little things of writing a book, or even having a child, or even staying in a relationship, how I made it through this course, or how I made it through this situation. A lot of time people don't want to repeat it because it's like, it takes work. Like we said, the action, you got to be active. You got to get your mind right. You got to change, because levels, we go and growing in levels. And so every 10 years, something's supposed to happen in your life.
Can you imagine somebody building a house with only one nail? No. There's a process that you go through, and every accomplishment is like a nail in your house of life. And so you have to be willing to go through that process.
Wow.
I would not want to buy a house that only had one nail in it. So many people want a quick fix. They want to get rich quick. In fact, what I passed off the time tell us, if it come fast, it won't last.
If it come fast, it won't last. That's good.
Won't last.
I like that. Because a lot of people don't realize, if it come fast, they want the quick gratification, the instant thing. But if it come fast, it won't last. If I get the quick million, it's gone. That's why most millionaires, if they don't know how to get the right investors, the right people in their team, it's gone.
People that won the lottery. I mean, they actually had a series where they checked up on people like 5 years later, and they were in worse shape because a lot of them didn't get their emotion. I mean, they were excited about winning the money, and as fast as it came, as fast went. They didn't get their mind right, and they didn't take action. And so I actually, I have a friend of mine. He is in the financial services industry, and he actually had a couple. They actually won a lottery, and the first thing they did was they called him, and they found out, okay, what is it that we need to do in order to make sure that we don't just blow this? Because they had obviously seen and heard stories of our people's life just got ruined with all of that money all of a sudden. And so even for us, the things that we need to do is we need to focus on getting our emotions in check, getting our mind right, taking action, but then repeating the process when everything goes off the rails or something comes up again. Because that's really what's going to help us, even during this pandemic, even doing what we're facing right now. We have to make sure that we are putting a plan in place that we can implement to get us where we want to be.
And I really think that people have to understand that it really takes some planning. It's going to take some action, and you're going to have to change your mindset. You got to have to, get your emotions. This has been the last 2-3 months have been a very emotional roller coaster for a lot of people.
Yes.
And so you know, this pandemic has caused people to have been emotionally involved to the point where they're taking antidepressants, because they don't know what's happening, they don't understand what's going on, and then life had thrown this curveball. They got their kids at home, and so all these things in the midst of this pandemic has caused them to be very emotionally drained. Some
Right.
people are emotionally drained.
Right.
And so that has caused them to figure out, how do I get this in check? How do I get my emotions in check? You know, and so what I tell people, don't go and look for medication. You know, some people are taking sleep aids. Some people are doing figure out what's driving that emotion. What
Right.
do I need to do to correct that, a corrective action towards it, and so, like you said, that part, as well as just being, the mind,
Yeah.
from the emotion to the mindset. If you get your mind right, then you will understand how to be active, how to get the activities going, how to change some things. But if you don't, it leads you to self-destruct.
Right. And I will add this one last component, and really this can be weaved through all the other four, and that is, you have to have a certain measure of faith. Okay. I mean, because one of the reasons why our emotions get out of whack is because we feel as if we don't have any control. Okay.
Wow.
And so, but if we trust in a higher power, and of course, I'm definitely referencing God, we realize that it may be over our head, but it's under his feet.
Exactly.
And so that's what
allows over his head, but under his feet.
No, it's over our head.
Over our head. Okay, over our head and under his feet. Okay.
Yes. The situation.
That's powerful.
The situation that we may find ourselves in, it may be over our head, but it's still under his feet, which means that he's still sovereign. He is still in control. He still has the last say so.
Yes.
And that's really what allows me to get my emotions in check. That's really what allows me to put a plan together.
Right.
That's really what allows me to take action. And it's really what allows me to repeat the process, because I realize everything doesn't hinge on me. And when you find people that are just think that, okay, everything falls on their shoulders and they have no one, Peter said, cast thy cares upon him, for he cared for us. Now, Peter was a fisherman, and he knew what it meant to cast a net. You would take it, you wouldn't get too close to the fish because they would swim away. So you had to get far enough away, but you could see them, but not scare them. And then you had to sling the net as far as you could.
Yeah.
So when he said, cast your cares on him, for he cared for us, he meant for us to do that, for us to actually throw it as far as we can, get it as far away from us as we can, knowing that God cares for us. And once we relieved ourselves of that burden, guess what? We're free.
Yes,
we're free up we are freed up to serve humanity. And so many people can't help and serve other people like what you're doing, because they are carrying their own burden and they are wrapped up in their emotions and they really don't know what to do, and they don't want to take action because they're scared. But when you've given it over to God, when you've trusted him in such a way to where it's like, okay, God, you have my problems. Now I'm free. I can do what you have
me to do. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Since you're about my business and you're handling my situation, I can help somebody else.
Right.
I can be about your business.
And that's so powerful. So now this is what I want you to do before I let you go. I don't want the time to collapse on me. I want you to tell our listening audience, how can they get in contact with you? How can, if you're on Facebook, Twitter, your social media pages, whatever they need to do, how can someone say, I need to know more about Sakoti Prince? How do I get in contact with them?
You can search my name on all of those platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And as far as I know, I'm the only Sakoti Prince out there.
I believe it. I have not seen a Sakoti Prince anywhere, and that's spelled CICONE. Prince.
Yes,
And so his last name is Prince.
Prince. And
Yes.
I do want to say you can go to my website, SicconePrince.com. That's CICONEPRINCE.com. And I do have a special gift for everybody that's listening.
Okay. You got a
If you go to
special
my
gift for
website,
everybody that's listening. So if
yes,
they go to
/newsletter, and that's one word, _sign
/newsletter.
up. Newsletter _ sign up. So SicconePrince.com /newsletter _ sign up. And when you go to that page, what you'll actually be able to do is sign up for a digital goodie bag. Now, in this goodie bag, I have 2 audios, which are about an hour each. So you get about 2 hours worth of audios, but you also get 2 of my ebooks, and you get the outlines for the audios. And one of the audios is entitled Waking Up in Your Purpose.
Oh, well, I might have to do this myself, Siccone. Okay, so go to SicconePrince.com
/newsletter
newsletter
NEWSLETTER
_sign up.
Yes.
So they have to go to newsletter _sign up, and then you sign up and they'll get
in the confirmation email, they will get a link to a digital goodie bag, which has all of this information in. And I'm telling you, these are some of the most powerful messages that I was able to present a couple of years ago on a broadcast similar to this one. And one of them is waking up in your power. The other one is walking in your purpose.
Okay. And so I want my listening audience, for you all that's listening tonight, I want you to go to his webpage. Please. This is some good information. This is some powerful things. I want you to go to his webpage, SicconePrince.com. And I want you to go in and sign up for this newsletter. So go in and get this newsletter so you can get this information. And he said, click on the link, and it's a goodie bag. So you will have information that will allow you to grow. It will allow you to go to the next step. I am so honored to have him on the show tonight. This has been awesome. We got it to work right. Even you got it on Facebook Live, and next week I'm going to have it on my YouTube page, and we're going to take it to the next level. But Siccone, I am so honored to have you on the show. I've been following you. We've been knowing each other. We've been in the same circles of friends for several years. And like I said, God has took me to a different direction. Sometimes we wonder why everybody else is doing certain things, but I'm so grateful that my audience over 178 countries were listen to us on a Wednesday night. So we have a listening audience from anywhere from 10,000 to 25,000 on a Wednesday night. And so I want to thank my audience listeners that's in Africa, South America, Australia, Mexico, the Caribbean islands, Jamaica, all those places, in the United States as well. I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. I wanted to introduce you to yourself. I want to make sure that you have the tools that you need. So because the next 6 months, I really want to impact people that they can make it through this pandemic. They made it. They can see themselves outside of this pandemic. They can see themselves moving to the next level. So I want to personally thank you again, Siccone, for coming on to the show. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor to have you as one of my special guests.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Brown. I appreciate you and the work that you're doing to help impact and change people's lives, because it's needed. And your voice is needed now more than ever. And I see why you have so many listeners, because you get to the heart of the matter, and that's what people need. There's enough of this fluff, enough of this, pomp and circumstances. People want something that's going to help them where they are. And that's what your show does. And I thank you for allowing me an opportunity to share with your listeners.
I would love to have you come back on in the next I want to personally invite you to come back on because you got some good nuggets. You got some powerful information. So in the next few months, probably by in August, I want to schedule you to come back on. We're booked all the way through June, July. So I want to have you come back in August so you can put some more nuggets on the table because, like I said, uh, right now, my vision, my goal is to give people, meet them where they at. I don't,
Right.
like you said, I don't want to fluff nothing. I don't want to make people feel that they got to go through this and that. I want to meet them exactly where they at. I want to give them the tools that they need now because I can't. I talked about it a few weeks ago. I have this tool belt on. I got all my tools. You know, when like you said about building a house, you can't build a house with one nail. So if
Right.
I got all my tools and I got this tool belt on, then I need to be able to pull out my measuring tape when I need it. I need to pull out my hammer when I need it. I need to pull out
Yes.
my screwdriver when I need it. I need to
Yes.
pull out all the necessary tools that I need to build and structure and give the people the keys that they need to be successful. That's why I bring people on. It's
Yes.
not about Trina. Trust me, it's not about me at all. It's about giving the people exactly what they need because we have the keys, we have the tools to give them what they need to build their legacy for their family, for their children, to build their empire for them. And if I have it, how dare me be someone that be selfish and not self-centered. And
Exactly.
I talked about that before because if I'm self-centered, I'm at the center of the table, giving out to everyone that's at the table. And so I want to bring you to the table so you can be able to give back to the people around the table.
Right. 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 Well, you are doing an amazing job, and again, I'm just so appreciative to you for your willingness to allow me to share with your listeners.
Again, please go to his website, saconiprince.com, and sign up for the link. Please go there for my listeners audience, those that are listening to me over in Africa and over in Australia and South America and in Mexico as well. Please go and sign up tonight. You will be blessed. You truly will be blessed. And again, to my Facebook audience, thank you for tuning in. Thank you again for all of you that are tuning in. And for those that will be repeating and listening to this again, I am so honored again. Thank you for tuning in to Trina Brown Speaks, Neuropathic Trainers Broadcasting. Have a blessed and wonderful evening. Thank you again, Sakoti. It's been an honor. I bless you, my brother. I thank you so much for coming on.
You are so welcome.
All right. Good night.
Good night.